Alright, it's time for 5 more anime that I really like. So the last video I did, which was a while ago, I did like my top 5 anime, and a bunch of people have, tweeted at me and messaged me saying, they watched something on the list and they really liked it, and that just fucking warms my heart, because I think a lot of these shows deserve to be watched more by people. And so a lot of people were like, hey, we want you to do another one, we want more recommendations. So I was like, sure, let's do it. So again, I have no script for this video, I'm just going off the top of my head. So at this point, I've done the top 5 anime, my top 5, and then the 5 anime I like that started before 2000. You can watch those in my vlogs playlist or find them. And so this time I figured I'd just go back to basics and just go with 5 shows that I really like, that I think more people should watch. Some of them are maybe more obscure than others. None of them are like incredibly obscure, but I figured, me personally, I want more people to watch these in general. Let's start with one that is not that obscure, because I think people like this one a lot. I mean, I'm glad people did, because it's great, but Mob Psycho 100. If you have not seen Mob Psycho 100, basically it's about a boy named Mob, who's this very kind, sweet little, kind of quiet boy. But turns out Mob, if his emotions get up to 100%, he goes fucking nuts, because he has incredible psychic powers, and so it just unleashes like this unstoppable, psychically powered beast inside of him. And he has this mentor named Reagan, who is basically a fraud, but he also cares for Mob, and there's like a fun cast of characters that encircle Mob, and then some shit goes down. But so it's by one who did One Punch Man, which everyone saw. But I actually like Mob Psycho. I love One Punch Man, but I like Mob Psycho 100 a lot more than One Punch Man, because I think Mob Psycho feels like One Punch Man in terms of its comedy, but it has sort of like really lovable character and character development and like emotional stakes that I think One Punch Man, since One Punch Man is a gag anime, I mean, at its heart. And Mob Psycho is really funny, but it's really more about Mob and Mob's relationship with Reagan and others, because you really love Mob. Mob is just a lovable little boy, and you want the best for him because he's such a nice, polite young man. Now, animation-wise, this show is incredible. Bones really just went fucking nuts with this. It manages to retain one's original, because One Punch Man is based off Yusuke Murata's art, which is gorgeous. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. But what I like about Mob Psycho is that it retains the art style of One, which, if you've seen his art style, it's very, very distinct. Some might even say messy, but I don't think that's a bad thing. And Mob Psycho takes that art style and turns it into something beautiful. The fights in it, some of the most incredible animation I've seen in a long while. Even just regular character interactions have really just dynamic and fun and just interesting animation. So if you're looking for a show with really great characters and good action and amazing animation, check out Mob Psycho. I think a second season just got announced, which I'm super pumped for. I do think it is like one of the best of that year, and I would highly recommend checking it out. If you like One Punch Man, check out Mob Psycho. Even if you haven't watched One Punch Man, watch Mob Psycho. It's great. This next one is just one of my favorites, easily, probably in my top 10. I haven't actually thought about my top 10 recently, but it's really, really good, and that's Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun, or Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, which is one of the funniest comedy anime I've ever seen, because most comedy anime pisses me off because it's not that funny or obnoxious, but something about Nozaki-kun, every joke it sets up, every scenario it sets up, always hits. So the concept is, there's this very serious looking student named Nozaki, and there's this girl Sakura, who's my favorite character, who has a big old crush on him. I don't know why, because he's dumb as a rock. Turns out Nozaki is actually a very famous mangaka, or manga author, of shoujo manga. And so she finds this out, and she becomes his kind of like assistant and helps him make his manga while still harboring this crush on him. And he is so focused only on manga, like all the time. Like he's always, every situation he's in his social life, he's always thinking, how can I translate this into a manga story? How can I do this? How can I do that? So he's such a dummy. But the dynamic between, because Sakura is like the perfect straight man character for like all the characters, because his cast is pretty wacky. But watching her kind of like try to like, you know, get Nozaki to notice her, and Nozaki just does not care at all. Not because he doesn't like Sakura, he really appreciates her, but he's just so dense and is just thinking about manga. There's also Kashima, who's this girl who dresses up as a guy, and like all the girls are in love with her, and she's one of the funnier characters. There's a lot of funny characters in it. I'm not gonna go through every single funny character, but basically there's a really strong supporting cast, so it's ripe for like just really funny situations and scenarios. Another character I really like is Mikoshiba, who's this giant nerd. He's basically this pretty boy, really popular with the ladies, but he's so socially awkward. He's like so bashful around girls, and he's also a giant nerd, which I can relate to. What a fucking nerd. Anyway, genuinely laugh out loud comedy, which I can't say for most anime comedy, actually. I think it's great, and I'm dying for a second season. I should probably read the manga. I might do that at some point, because I'm just impatient. I just want more Nozaki. But it's great. Check out Nozaki-kun if you want a good-ass comedy anime. Alright, next up is Sound Euphonium. This had 2 seasons, and it's done. I don't think they're making any more. It pretty much, I think, resolved in a good way, and I was happy with the ending. Basically, Sound Euphonium is about a high school symphonic band who had some drama in the past, so there was some drama going on with their upperclassmen, and so the band is kind of like trying to piece itself together, and then this teacher comes in who's like, hey guys, if you want to be a really good symphonic band and actually, you know, compete this year, let me know, and if you do, we're gonna take this fucking seriously. And they do. I mean, they tell them that they're interested, they vote yes, and so it's about this band trying to overcome their drama they had and get better as a band together. It's really, it's so good. It's Kyoto Animation, so it has gorgeous animation. And then the main character is Kumiko, who is probably my favorite character in it. She's such a fun protagonist because she feels like a really real person. She's sarcastic, but also, you know, wants to like get along with others, but is a little withdrawn. But you know, she harbors a lot of her own insecurities and stuff. She doesn't feel like too one note or too bland. Like a lot of protagonists in anime have that problem where these side characters are way more interesting, but I think Kumiko is very interesting. And there's all these fun characters. I love the teacher, and there's Asuka, who's like this very outgoing baritone player who's like take charge, but she also has her own like hidden insecurities. There's Reina, who she's a very interesting character, and there's a very interesting relationship that forms between her and Kumiko. Yeah, it's just filled with all these really great supporting characters, and I was in marching band in high school, so it really brought me back to that feeling of just working together as a team and getting better, and just because you form bonds when you're in like a sports team or a band or something like that. It's a really unique feeling, and it really captured that feeling for me, I think. They explore some interesting relationships between the characters. There's some good drama there, but it's also some very nice light comedy. All in all, it's just heartwarming and satisfying. Really gratifying watching this band improve together, and these characters sort of develop as, you know, Kumiko comes in kind of like cynical, like, I don't want to do this, but she starts really getting into it, and she really develops as the series goes on, and she becomes more take charge and less like, I don't want to get involved. Great characters, beautiful animation. I love slice of life, and this is, I think, a great KyoAni slice of life. So check out Sound Euphonium. It's 2 seasons, not that long. It's so good. Alright, the next 2 are ones I really want more people to watch. I think the 3 I mentioned before were relatively watched by a good amount of people, at least from my knowledge, but these 2 I don't hear that much about, but I think they're both fantastic. And the first one I'll talk about is Space Brothers. Space Brothers is a show about two brothers in space. But it's like basically when they were kids, they wanted to become astronauts. And that was like, they promised each other, like, one day we'll both be astronauts and stand on the moon together or something like that. And then fast forward to present day, where one of the brothers is an established astronaut, and the other one is kind of like working a job at like a car company or something. It's something like that. Spoiler alert, first episode, he gets fired from that job, and then he decides, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking go for it. Like, he's like, I think late 30s, and he's like, it's probably too late to try, but he's like, I'm gonna go for it anyway, because this was something I've always wanted to do, and I don't want to have any regrets. And that is so inspiring to me. It is one of the most inspiring anime I think I've seen, because it has this message of like, you know, it's not too late to follow what you're passionate about, even if there's no guarantee of success. Just go for something you love. Doing what you love is important, you know, giving it a shot. So it follows Muta, who is basically, his goal is to become an astronaut, and it's a long road because he's starting basically from scratch. So it's like his journey to try to become an astronaut. And it also follows Hibito, the younger brother, and he has his own struggles with, you know, being an astronaut, and he runs into some troubles here and there. So it's a really interesting show. It goes into detail about like the space program and like, you know, I think it's really interesting seeing like how that all works, and it has a fun supporting cast. So it's like a good slice of life. But you know, Muta's journey has almost like the feelings of like, because he has to go through like training and like trials to like get to be a candidate. It almost feels like shonen at times, in terms of how interesting and exciting it can be. But at its heart, it's a slice of life. It's very satisfying watching Muta grow and become this more confident, passionate person. And Hibito doesn't get as much development, but he still has his own interesting journey he has to take. And so it's just a great show in watching these characters grow. I'm not sure if I'm doing it justice here, but it's a great show, and I would love for more people to watch it. I think they're going to make more at some point. I think that was their official stance, that they'll make more in the future, but there's a lot of it, and you know, I even though I want more, you know, what came out was good, so I'll patiently wait for more. And finally, the show I want people to watch the most on this list is Shirobako. Shirobako is about these 5 girls who, when they're in high school, they're like, yeah, we're gonna follow our dreams and we're gonna make an anime one day. And smash cut to present day, where it's like the grim reality of how hard it is to work in anime. And what I love about Shirobako is it feels, honestly, in a good way, like a documentary series. It's like watching, it's not like a glorified, like, haha, making anime is so much fun and it's so easy and nothing will ever go wrong. If you watch Shirobako, you will appreciate anime. Even bad anime or mediocre anime, it is a miracle that any anime gets made. Shirobako's main character is Miyamori, who I think is a producer or something like that. I forgot her exact job, but she basically is in charge of like managing people, making sure that different parts of the production are moving smoothly. And it's basically her kind of navigating her way through this really tough job. And it goes through all the different parts of anime production. You know, not only just the art, but also the voice acting, because one of the characters wants to be a voice actress, and you know, I can really relate to that. One of the characters is an animator or an artist, and she has a really satisfying arc. It's just fascinating watching anime be made. Watching an anime about an anime being made sounds not that interesting, but it's so interesting and so compelling. And there's a lot of drama too, because the two halves of the show are based off the real production issues that 2 anime had. One of them was Polar Bear Cafe, and the other one is Girls und Panzer. I haven't seen that, but it's based off real production issues that 2 anime studios had. And it does not shy away from how difficult and how sometimes unrewarding anime production can be. Like, the characters will frankly discuss, like, you know, when I went into this industry, I had these big, you know, sort of like naive sort of expectations and dreams, and you know, after years of working in the industry, I realized that's not realistic, and I've become kind of worn down by the system. I was not expecting that. Like in the beginning, the 5 girls were like, we're gonna make anime. I'm like, is this gonna be fucking stupid? Is this gonna be like, oh, anime, but moe? No, it's a very realistic look at how anime is made. It reminded me of this really good documentary called The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, about Studio Ghibli and you know, anime production in that field. Yeah, it's great. I think more people, I'm dying for more. I don't know if they're ever gonna make more, because I don't know, they're dumb. I don't know. They should, because it's brilliant. Like, it's such an interesting show, and it really does feel like a documentary about making anime, but with really fun characters you root for. So watch Shirobako, I implore you. If you watch just one show on this list, watch Shirobako. Although I think you should watch all 5, but Shirobako, I implore you, it's great. Alright, that was 5 anime I really like. Yeah, go check those out, and I hope more people watch them. And yeah, maybe I'll do more of these. I still got plenty of shows to talk about, so maybe I'll make more in the future. We'll see. But yeah, see ya.